We are on a 3-country tour, doing observation of a number of operations, and of course we are here in Liberia, and our primary operations that we wanted to review here in Liberia were is the Côte d'Ivoire rescue program for the refugees from Côte d'Ivoire and Liberia, and as well as an observation mission of the food security activities for Liberians. We were pleased, and I don't often use that word lightly. When I see challenges, I identify them. But we were very pleased with the operation that we observed in refugee support, not just from the agencies, which I'll talk about, but first of all, with the Liberian government. Because every place we went, we were welcomed by representatives from the Liberian government who were very forthcoming with the government's commitment to supporting meeting the needs of the Côte d'Ivoirians who sought refuge and continue to seek refuge here in Liberia. So that was very encouraging, because for any of these operations to work, we must have the support of the Liberian government. But what we also recognized was that there was work that was being performed to support the food security needs of Liberians as well. This is an operation that is working to protect those refugees who are seeking assistance here in Liberia, but at the same time recognizing that this is a country that has its own food security challenges. So there's work that is happening simultaneously to support the food security needs of Liberians in the areas where they're either hosting refugees or where there is a refugee camp. And the other activity that we were very pleased to see was the coordination between the UN organizations. That is often a challenge where you have refugee activities that are being performed by a number of UN entities as well as NGOs and the government. You see that you don't have the appropriate coordination to ensure the efficiency that is required to effectively meet the needs of the refugees. That's not what we saw here. What we saw, whether it was the support for refugees in host communities or those refugees that were in bond camp, the organizations were working together with the government to meet the needs of the refugees. And then one issue that is often we overlooked when we respond in humanitarian crisis is then what? We respond to the crisis, but there is no plan for what do we do next to ensure that we meet the development needs or the going home needs, in this case of refugees. Again, I'm very pleased to report that what we observed was not just a response to the immediate needs of the refugees, but also a plan for and an implementation of that plan for the development activities. We saw FAO programs that were partnered with WFP programs where you had planting that was occurring that would, in one case, assure that the refugees would have an opportunity not just to receive support for their food needs, but also they would derive income from the plantings that were being done. We saw Liberians who were participating with WFP in a program that we call the Purchase for Progress program. That's the title of the program, where they had developed an entire rice field program where they were not just growing rice, but they were also doing the post-harvest production work that was necessary to bring them a higher value for that rice. And then that rice was being used to support the food security needs of those Liberians in the area. So we saw two different development activities. One, the development activities that were being planned and implemented in response to the humanitarian crisis for the citizens of the Ivory Coast, but also the development activities that were being implemented in support of Liberians in the community who were then providing support to meet not just their food security needs, but their economic needs. Because the goal of any of these food programs, and that's what we do, is how do you feed people, shouldn't be how do we feed more people, but ultimately how do we help people feed themselves.